Let me tell you something most people won't admit. You see, the gym isn't intimidated because of the weights. It's intimidated because it forces you to face who you think you are. And today I'm going to show you how to transmute, pardon me, gym intimidation into your personal power. If you ever walked into the gym and felt small, felt watched, felt like you didn't belong, this is for you. Hi, I'm Tristan. This is my channel, Alchemiefitnezz. This is where we don't build bodies. We actually turn fear into fuel and lead into gold. Now, you already know how I do. I got my notes in front of me, as always. All right. So gym intimidation isn't about other people. It's really it's an identity shock. You see, you're stepping into a new environment where you're a beginner again. Your ego feels exposed, and your nervous system is definitely on high alert. You may think that people are judging you, but that's not what it really means. You see, it means I haven't accepted this version of myself yet. And it's not weakness, it's where transformation actually starts. I actually have a couple of clients like that. For example, I live out in Brooklyn. So a local gym close to where I work or train at, closed down. And some of my clients, they were telling me their experience the first week when they got to the gym where I work at. And if you're down to train with me, I'm at Harbor Fitness, Mill Basin location at 6161 Strickland Avenue. All right. Don't try to beat me up or anything like that. No, I'm just teasing. If you want to come down and get some training in person, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm located. And, I do outside training too as well. And definitely online. But that's something totally different. So different, but not different. But let me continue with the story. I had clients, they were really uh, culture shocked because, Harbor was a bigger gym where they went to, and it was smaller. Therefore, they felt more family oriented. Although I believe Harbor is a family oriented kind of gym, depending what times you go. But the people are there generally friendly. So the amount of traffic, the stimulus was too much for them. They were like, "Oh my God, this is too much. I don't want to be here," and they didn't know how they would fit in. You know, like I said, some of my clients, I got a few clients from the previous gym. So one of my challenges was actually getting them comfortable in training at Harbor. How did I do that? I gave them an example of going to school. It's the same thing. It's your first day at school, you're the new kid or whatever have you. Once you start becoming a familiar face in the gym and you have a decent energy, people will take a liking to you and they probably start giving you, the head nod. Oh, you're a familiar face. Hey, what's up? How you doing? And that's one of the ways that you can break through that fear, even as a beginner. You just got to keep showing up and people are willing to help you as well. The world is not as cruel as you may think it is. You know what I'm saying? So that was one of the challenges, and that's how we got them going. And now they're probably like one of the gym's favorites. They're more popular than me, believe it or not. Right? So another thing too is that it's a lie. People are in their heads a lot thinking that everyone is watching you. Believe it or not, 9 times out of 10, people aren't watching you. They're in their own world. You know what I'm saying? They got their own stuff going on because people are generally self-centered. If they see you, they're like, oh, someone's probably new or what the hell they're doing. But for the most part, people are really stuck to themselves. They're in their own head. They're counting their own reps. They're finding their own insecurities, believe it or not. So they're trying to find out who else is confident or I want to look like that or whatever situation may be. But no one is paying attention to you when you go into the gym. So you have nothing really to worry about because each one of us were started where you are. Coming into the gym, oh my God, nervousness. And then the more you go, you get familiar, more acclimated to your environment, the more comfortable you'll become. And then you really start to think like, you know what, I had nothing to worry about to begin with. So this is how your confidence begins to build in a way, because now you're exposing yourself to a different kind of stimulus and your body's getting used to it now. Because like I said, it's like a flight or fight, but now you're there in it, you're getting more comfortable, your confidence is growing and you're becoming to ease in through your environment, right? So this is how you actually alchemize your intimidation into confidence, right? When you shrink the battlefield, you always say know your terrain, but don't try to conquer the gym in its entirety. Don't look at it as the forest. See the trees and then you can see the forest. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense to you. You know, so one way I like to teach is just focus on what you're doing right now. So if you're on a particular machine, just focus on doing your best on that machine, right? If it's a corner that you go in, I know people that go into, like, they have their own cool little corner they train and they get their workout in. That's their world. You can start off by doing that, and then before you know it, they start increasing their space. They start taking up more space, not just the corner, but now they may be in a different section of the gym to get more familiarized with that as well. You know what I mean? But the whole thing is just to show up, consciously putting that effort and exposing yourself to the new environment, right? Also, too, reframe intimidation as initiation. Uh, every time, you know, like your heart is racing, that's not really fear. It's like activation, right? Because remember, the gym is like an initiation chamber. This is where you start to transform. And when I think about fear, I also think about The Dark Knight Rises. Yes, I'm doing another Batman reference, where Bruce gets trapped in the pit, and the doctor asks him, "What do you fear?" And he's like, "I fear dying in here, and my city is burning." Right? So he said, "Why don't you use that um, as a force to get you out of here, like the child did? But you got to jump without the rope, meaning like with no safety net." You see what I'm saying? So now, if Bruce doesn't make the jump or he misses, he ends up dying. So we can use fear as a positive. It's not always a negative emotion. I think some people says it means fear everything and run away, or false evidence appear to be real. It's all about how your position and perspective on it. So we can use these emotions for a positive benefit. So if you're fearful, then that means you should do it. You know what I'm saying? And as you know, in The Dark Knight Rises, he ended up jumping and climbing out through the rope back behind him, which is significance. And he went on and, saved Gotham, right? But you could do the same thing as Bruce did when it comes to the gym. But also by him getting out, it also transformed him and gave him the confidence to go on and do what he needed to do, right? So you don't, since we're on the topic of confidence, this is something that you don't train for. You actually build confidence. I like to tell clients they're both the marble and the sculptor, right? So with each rep, although it's burning, you're getting closer to the body and who you want to become, right? So with each rep, you're saying, "I'm here, I belong here, I'm becoming someone new." You see what I'm saying? So it's not intimidating you. This is where you outgrow the fear that wants to find you and start molding and forging yourself to become that new person. Like it says in scripture, put on the new man, right? Or woman. You're becoming that new person. So it's like a swordsman, or gold rather. Let's do the swordsman, where they're dipping in the heat, the gold, and they keep trying to make that instrument, that sword, much more finer and stronger, right? Or when it's with gold, they have to put it under intense heat to get the dross off of it, right? To purify it and also for it to shine. So it's the same thing, like when you're going through those changes as well. You see what I'm saying? So that lactic acid, that's the burning that you're getting closer to your goal with each rep that you're pushing through to become that new person that you're trying to transform into. You see what I'm saying? It's similar to like a caterpillar going into a cocoon and becoming a butterfly. It's not an easy metamorphosis. It's not an easy transformation, but you have to stick with it in order to get to where you need to get to. You see what I'm saying? So now it's not intimidating. It's more of a forging and redefining who you are. You see what I'm saying? So like I said, it's a journey. And I tell clients all the time that the body that you want comes from you becoming more aware with yourself. That's why it's a journey. It's not no start, stop kind of thing. Each rep that you push in, you're building your threshold for pain to push through your comfort zone. And being fearful or uncomfortable in a new environment is one way of doing that and exposing yourself to that. So for my newbies who goes to a new gym or who's intimidated of the gym, use this as a challenge or situation or circumstance to see more of who you really are, and use that to catapult you into the new version of yourself that you desperately want to become, that's buried inside of you. All right. So this is Alchemy Fitness signing off, where we transfer you from lead to gold. train hard, train smart, and train safe. If you're interested in an online program, click the link in the description and let's reach out and see if I can help you accomplish your goals. Thank you again, and peace.